Hello, welcome to the JB Show, live on Revolutionary Blackout. My name is Jaybefaunt Channel, and I am your host today. You like how I did that falsetto there? Today's going to be a kind of a lighthearted show. I just wanted to do something a little bit lighthearted because I had to move the show that was supposed to happen today. I had to move it a week back. So I'm like, well, might as well do something that's a little bit lighthearted, so we can kind of take the 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 pressure off of our shoulders, kind of feel good. I know we talk about policy and we talk about what's happening on in the world a lot, and that's great. And I still will get into some of that. You know me, but I also wanted to just kind of let your mind chill just for a second. You know, um, I'm not wearing dark colors. I'm trying to be a little bit brighter. You know, hello everybody that's watching right now. Everybody that's in the chat. Good to see your lovely faces. Mwah, mwah. Love you. Okay, now, hello, Franken Kitten. Oh, that's such a cute avatar. I love it. Reminds me of myself. Black and fluffy. Eric Gray, what's up? How you going? Good to see you. Quaker, my buddy. So good to see you again. Uncle Warren, yay. All right, nice to see you as well. Welcome to everybody who's in here. This is my favorite of forehead kisses. Well, for that one, you get an extra one. Forehead kisses. Mwah. There you go. But look, this is going to be a Q&A stream. So basically, my content of this stream is dependent on you. You're basically going to be creating the content for this stream. And I mean, I can talk about a few different things, but I mean, hey, what is it not better than to have a conversation instead of me just talking at you? I hate doing that shit because I don't like to be talked at. I know you don't like to be talked at, so we're gonna have a conversation. Hey, Austin, good to see you. Leroy, nice. Get your bong ready. You know what? Take a puff for me, will you? Please. I think a lot of us need it. Bluebird, good to see you as well. Austin Jones, nice to see you again. So y'all got monetized again. Yes, just 2 weird ads for You know what? Speaking of which, I used to spend like hours and hours gaming when I was younger. Oh my gosh. Especially in the summertime when I was in high school. Oh, yeah. Especially okay, so I started working at 16. So, but summers, when I had a day off or before I started working at 16, man, hours just being on a game system, on an RPG, 8 a.m., wake up, get yourself a bowl of cereal. Then after you finish your bowl of cereal, start playing a RPG. For me, it was Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 10, something like that. Then take, bathroom breaks and snack breaks. By the time I'm done, it'll be like 8, 9 o'clock in the evening. So like 12, 13 hours, just pure gaming. It was crazy. And those were my summers because, well, I was too broke to go anywhere else. So, that I had to do mental escapism. So, yeah. Terry Conley, I'm not sure if I've ever seen you in the chat, but it's nice to have you as well. Welcome to the show as well. And thank you, Leroy, because yeah, share, do enough posts for everybody in the chat. That may be a lot, but still do enough for everybody because we need it. The last few weeks have been rough. Yeah, staying up all night to beat games. You know what? I'm gonna give you all a little bit of story time. Okay, so there once was a young man named JB, and that young man decided that he was going to play Final Fantasy 12. And in Final Fantasy 12, you also any Final Fantasy game, you have what's called optional super bosses. And those super bosses are extremely powerful, very difficult to beat. So that was what it was for me. Now, I decided to go against one of the most powerful optional super boss in Final Fantasy 12, which was named was Yzmat. And Yzmat was an asshole. And I'm going to tell you why I end up rage quitting. So I end up playing. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and this is boss that will kill you multiple times. You have to keep reviving yourself and all that bullshit. And so there's a part where you can actually run back to the save point, save, and then run back and still be in the middle of the battle, right? Your progress and everything is still there. But one thing I realized is that Yzmat can put reflect on itself, which means that if you cast a spell at it, it can reflect, or it'll cast reflect on me, and whatever spell I cast on myself, it'll reflect back to it. So I decided, because I was, about to die, I did this spell called Renew, which means it fully replenishes all the HP that you lost. Well, I played 3.5 hours in. 3.5 hours in. And then I decided to renew, even though I forgot that he was going to cast Reflect. So right before I did it, he cast Reflect on me. I renew, it bounces off of me, and it goes straight back to him. And his hit power was 50 million. I got him down to like 47 million. I took out 47 million, and then I gave back 47 million. I was this close to breaking my television with my controller. This close. And it was literally 3:30 in the morning. And I started playing at midnight. And I'm usually in bed by like 10:30 or 11. Yeah. So yeah, just that's that little short story of me almost rage quitting in a game. Thank goodness I didn't rage quit like I wanted to, because, well, I would have been down a TV and possibly a controller. So good thing I didn't do that. Yeah. So back to the chat. Leroy says, I love Final Fantasy 7. I want to play the remake. Haven't had the time. I am playing the remake, and it's pretty good. I borrowed the game from my nephew, and it's, number one, it's addictive. Number two, it is where Final Fantasy 7 was high school. Final Fantasy 7 remake is going to university. That's all I'll put. That's all I'll say. It's going to university. It's elevated. It's a lot more complex. And yeah, if you can get your hands on it, then yeah, I would advise you to. It's awesome. Justin Johnson, good to see you. Hey, let me see. Eric Gray says, speaking of video games, my folks wouldn't let me play Mortal Kombat, but they would let me play Tekken, even though there aren't many differences between the two. Okay, so I was not allowed to play Mortal Kombat growing up, but at the same time, you're also talking to a guy. I cringed even when I was watching Deadpool. I'm not that guy. So I've never really been into Mortal Kombat anyway. I just can't do it. No. Gore, it's not for me. I don't even watch horror movies. Yeah. And people are like, oh my God, JB, you don't watch horror movies? No, I don't watch horror movies. Not at all. But, oh well. Leroy, you know what? I don't have the lungs because I barely smoke weed. And it's not it's more by circumstance, because, number one, I'm broke as shit. But number two, out of respect for my mother in the house. I don't really do it that much. If I'm, I don't do it at home. Uh, but that's another different story. But I have had edibles, so yeah, that's cool. Um, in school, real exchange journal for correct. So I started in Los Angeles. Are you talking about video games? Started in bullet journal. I'm not sure. Oh, can you let me know what that is? Um, you watch me. I just never seen your name in the chat. Look, I'm so absent-minded. You literally have to hit me over the head with a textbook and be like, "Look, it's me," and then I'll be like, "Oh, okay." Like I sometimes I'm terrible at this. Sometimes I forget people's names right after I meet them. It's just it's something I have to work on, and I do apologize for that. Hey, bitch, JB, I'm watching from work. Got to fight against the exploitation of my labor. Look, if they're exploiting you, I hate to say this, but you got to exploit them back. If they're not watching, if they're not looking directly at you, go ahead, watch the stream. Watch the stream. Because if they're gonna sit there and exploit you for all that you have, then you basically, you fight back by taking your time to chill whenever you need to, or to get a show in whenever you want. Because I mean, they're probably committing wage theft against you right now as we speak. It's not, yeah, whatever. It's like y'all got plenty of money. Um, oh yeah, it's Easemat. It's I think it's YZMAIT. Easemate. It I think I may have pronounced it wrong though. Jay and Sabby are simultaneous. Are Oh wait, Sabby's on right now too. If Sabby doesn't usually do Sundays. Sabby, I'm gonna have to get Sabby on the channel. I'm gonna have to get her on. We'll see. Um, can't imagine James being so full of the rage. Oh Lord, it's very rare, very very rare that I am actually full of rage. Um, I don't. I hate being angry. I don't like it. And I don't like drama. Um, I'm pretty peaceful to a fault, meaning uh, I had to learn that some type of anger is okay because it means that it's an emotion that means that something is out of place and a correction needs to be made. Um, that was something that I had to learn as an adult. It's not easy because when you're the type of person that always goes with the flow, and you're the type of person that you it's hard it was hard for me to set up boundaries. That's always been a point of difficulty for me. And so you get to a point where you realize that you have to be stern, which has always been difficult for me. The only time I can ever remember myself being stern and it wasn't difficult for me was helping raise my nieces and nephews. And I can be stern in a way, but then I can also make it so that they know why I'm being stern, and they know what's behind it. Um, and being able to set boundaries. And so I'm still learning. Shit, I'm 37 years old and I'm still learning how to do this. This adulting thing is difficult. So yeah. So yeah, I do, but it's very rare. And oh yeah, here's the problem. I'm not a sports guy. So me playing Madden, I played it maybe once or twice in my life total. I'm not a sports guy, but I think I kind of understand what you mean. So yeah, I don't think it's Sabi doesn't do on weekends. Oh, my special guest is here.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Spectrum being assholes, but I'm back. I'm here. What's up, guys? Social STEM made James.
No, that's my new nickname for you, man. Especially like if I see you in the ring, that's gonna be your new nickname. You're gonna be Chocolate Thunder in the ring doing Muay Thai. Oh boy, that's gonna be awesome. I
you
can't wait.
you talking about how you didn't like sports, but I'm still
Uh,
shook. I'm still shook. Amanda Nunes lost last night. If you guys don't know what that means, the best female fighter of all time, who should get way more press because she's like the first lesbian champion
mm-hmm.
ever, and she's the 2 division champion, defeated everybody, and she lost to Juliana Pena, one of the biggest upsets of all time last night, which is crazy, crazy. Anyway, I gotta get into some martial art nerd stuff every once in a while. What's up, James?
Yo, man. Hey, look, we're just trying to, I mean, we'll get into policy and stuff, but this is going to be largely just a lighthearted stream, Q&A from people.
Man, yeah,
It's Sunday.
Yeah, Saturday I already gave people some policy. We were talking about climate change, so I don't know what y'all expect of me today, but we can maybe cover some headlines, maybe. But I'm here just to chill with you guys today.
Yeah. And in the words of Nick, we just vibing. That's it. So that's what's up. But yeah, I was actually talking about how much I was a gamer back when I was in my teenage years. It was crazy. It was something vicious. Especially the RPGs. I used to do that a lot.
What was your favorite?
I was a huge Final Fantasy fan. Final Fantasy 7, 10, 12. I also did some fighting games. I was the Marvel versus Capcom guy. That's what I was. And so I love that. I love that as well. I still got Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which if you go on eBay and try to look it up to see if about buying it even used, it's like $150. And that game came out almost 20 years ago. And it's still like $150. So I mean, you might be able to get used around like $50 to $60 maybe, but it's very hard to get. So and plus you can't get it, you can't download it from anywhere unless you get like some like I guess I forgot what it's called, torrent or something like that. But other than that, that's it. So yeah.
Thank you, B. I appreciate the comment.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I think on my Saturday shows, it's gonna be like I'm gonna try to have conversations. I was testing the time slot, but it was fun. I had fun talking with you guys. That was like my old school show on Social CMA, where I just kind of just ran about policy. So I spent like 90 minutes making the case on why if you're not serious about eating the rich, you're not serious about climate change. If you're not serious about defunding the military, you're not serious about fighting climate change. So check that out. Check that out. Thank you for the comment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how about that the summit yesterday, the student debt boycott summit?
Yeah,
That
I
was
learned a lot.
Yeah. And it was really good to see all the people, especially from the Indie News Network on there. I mean, let's be real. That was also a summit that needed to be had.
I'm glad
Because
we got more people doing stuff like this.
yeah.
Blue Moon, shout out to her. She taught me a lot when I was on the panel with her regarding like the legality of student loan debt strikes. But yeah, it was good. It was good stuff.
Yeah. And you learn how, even when we were talking to Colin, how he starts to feel, he's like, I feel burnt out already as a teacher. I'm just like, damn, dude, that's harsh. And a lot of it seems to be from, not feeling like you're being respected enough, not just in thought, but also in your compensation as a teacher, you know? and you can't just go anywhere. Like, you know, like he was saying, he wanted to go back to the neighborhoods, you know, to help, you know, teach kids, especially, you know, if you're from the hood and you want to go back and teach kids from the hood to inspire them, then that's what you want to do. But you can't do that if you're not making enough money. So that really hit me, you know, and I was just like, man, I mean, I'm thankful for calling and telling me that story, but it hits you hard, man, you know, especially when somebody like him has to deal with student loan debt. And I mean, fortunately for me, I don't. And I was this close like 2 years ago to going to school, and for some reason, something just kept holding me back. And I was just like, man,
Hey,
you know,
JB,
what's up?
can we use this time to bat Jim Psaki? I wanted to cover this a little bit with CJ, but since you're on the topic, I might have to spoil this a little bit. I want to see your reaction more than anything, because I still want to show it with CJ, because I saw this was going around on Twitter. You guys, okay. You know, you made a mistake. You should never invite me on your show. You know how
I am. So, you, Nick. Okay, go ahead.
So this is 2 days ago. In the midst of the news that student loans are about to continue, despite the economy for ordinary workers have not improved. In fact, things are getting worse than ever. The homelessness crisis is worse than ever. We see, and I'm going to show you guys another example of the class warfare that is being waged by the managerial class against the workers. But check this out. Let's see. This is going to be very interesting. I want to see your thoughts on this, JB. This is their response regarding the student loan stuff.
Administration considering extending that student loan payment pause. I know there's, if not, besides legislation that probably won't pass, what are some of the options that can help these people?
You're talking about the student loan payment pass that expires in February, just for clarity. So in the coming weeks, we will release more details about our plans, and we'll engage directly with federal student loan borrowers to ensure they have the resources they need and are in the appropriate repayment plan. We're still assessing the impact of the Omicron variant, but a smooth transition back into repayment is a high priority for the administration.
And administration.
JB, 2022 is about to be a fucking bloodbath. Instead of getting people the $1,200 checks they promised, instead of actually having a pro-worker approach where you cancel student loan debt for the working class in the middle of this economic depression so we can spend money in the economy, the Biden administration is shilling for student loan debt companies, and they want to make sure they can get their payments as soon as possible. I got a lot to say about this, but this is your show, James. I got a lot to say about this, but I want to pass it to you, bro. What's your the student loans is back, man. The student loans, a lot of people didn't pay them throughout the crisis, but they're back.
Okay. All right. Okay. So trying to bring back student loans. Aren't most student loans government backed? Aren't they, you know, federally, you know, they're federal student loans. With that being said, and from what I learned about MMT, the government does not need that money back. If that's the case, then why in the fuck are we enforcing people to pay back student loans when we could just cancel them? And here's the crazy part. They're trying to grow the economy. If they really wanted to do that, they would just cancel the student loans, and that money can actually go back into the economy. But instead, that money is going back for what purpose? What, for creditors to get more money? Pardon my French when I say this. Fuck the creditors. So what's the point? They're just leeches on the system. There's absolutely no reason to have them. And then you want to sit there and say, well, you know, because, you know, we're looking at the Omicron variant and seeing how it's going to go, then we're going to see about helping people with repayment. I'm like, no, cancel it. I'm done with the whole, oh, we just got to see about people repaying it. Some people ain't got the money. I don't care if they ain't got some people ain't even got $10 to pay back. So this is frustrating. This is very frustrating, dude.
Do you guys want to know why the Biden administration is so nefarious? A lot of people are missing this. Do you guys know one of the reasons why they want to speed up and open up student loan debt payments? They want to get everyone back to work immediately. They want you to die for capitalism the same way Donald Trump is doing. And they're straight up ignoring the devastation that is going on right now because they don't want to hurt their jobs numbers. Like they don't want to hurt their economic numbers. They're looking at their political standing. And they're like, okay, we got to do whatever it takes to make ourselves look good, right? So if you continue to cancel student loans, my point is that they cancel student loan debt, they give the impression that we got to continue to do stuff for the working class. So if Biden and his administration acknowledges that the student loan debt crisis is something that has to be dealt with right now because of the economic system, that's him conceding that the economy is not doing great. I'm going to continue that thought, but thank you for the super chat. James, you want to take it? You want to read that?
Yeah. Marcus says, you guys are great. It's not much, but I give what I have. Look, we appreciate any type of support. Just letting you know, we appreciate any and all. It's been a rough month for somebody like me because I've been trying to take a mental health break. So any type of support, even just words of encouragement, are always welcome. So thank you.
Yeah, that means a lot, man. It's hard. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Mhm.
I saw this. I just saw this. This is pretty interesting.
Mhm.
In response to the Biden. Once again, my point is, I just want you guys to know this is part of the class war. This is them pushing back on the idea that they have to do something for workers despite the conditions of the economy. So if they do something regarding student loan debt, then people will be asking about healthcare. And then they have to do something about healthcare and student loan debt, then people will be asking about the homelessness crisis. So they got to put a stop on that immediately. JB, what's your thoughts on this? I'm gonna just be passing this to you. Hold on, where the headline go? Here we go. There's an independent voter with 163,000 in student debt. Like, guys, this is our society that we live in. People just walk around with $160,000 in debt. This is our economy, JB.
Yeah, $163,000. That person, I don't blame them. In fact, part of me is like, you didn't leave sooner,
Right. And the funny thing is, and I know because I was on the receiving end of this, right? There were people who will smear this person as, oh my God, look at this red blue alliance person who red brown alliance person who wants Republicans to win. That is literally what they say to people who lead the Democratic Party. That's what they say about me. They say, oh, you just want Trump to win, even though the reason why I'm not voting for Joe Biden because he destroyed the black community. And this person is leaving the Democratic Party because he has $160,000 in student loan debt. And he felt betrayed by Joe Biden. He said, I really felt he was going to help us with student loans. Come on, dude. Well, I don't want to punch this dude when he's down, but come on. I hope this is a learning lesson for you guys. Do not trust these politicians. Why would anyone trust Jim Crow Joe, the guy who lied about being arrested in South Africa protesting apartheid? He lied about being a civil rights activist that were protesting segregation, even though in reality he was a senator that sided with segregationists. So this is the guy you guys believe. I'm not attacking this guy. I'm attacking the concept of believing Biden because I feel like people are propagandized. I don't blame this guy that much, right? Just the propaganda is thick, and that's why I'm attacking more than anything.
Yeah. Well, and look, this guy who decided he's going to leave the Democratic Party, other people would judge and go, well, that means he's going to the Republican Party. No. Just because you leave the Republican Party you leave the Democratic Party doesn't mean you're going to the Republican Party. I left the Democratic Party. Does that mean I'm going into the Republican Party? Hell no. And so, I don't want people to attack him. There's some people who will have this binary thinking of, well, if you're not in the Democratic Party, you must be in the Republican Party, which is complete and utter bullshit. You and I both know that because, you know, I'm independent, you're independent. But this guy, you know, unfortunately, he was a victim of the propaganda. And this person probably is also a victim of this notion that you have, in order to make a life for yourself, you have to go to school and you have to take these loans out by any means necessary. And how many people are paying on just the interest by itself? They're not even paying on the principal. And so the goal in the article that I shared yesterday, the goal is never to pay off the student loan. That's just residual. They want you to pay just on the interest, because that means there's residual income for these companies, for these banks, for the rest of your life. And then it gets passed down to people who you love. And then they pay down that for the rest of their life. And it goes on and on and on. It's a means of creating obscene amounts of wealth and residual income. That means, and thankfully, at this multi-level marketing that I almost got into, thankfully I didn't. They taught me this. Well, residual income, it's you get paid today, you get paid tomorrow today, and you get paid yesterday today. So basically you're getting paid for infamy. And that's what these student loan companies and these banks are basically, this is how they do it. So they're getting paid residual income off of your pain. And you getting a loan is supposed to help out with the investment of your education. And really, you're supposed to be just a small percentage of what you ultimately will make, to pay it back. But instead, it's flipped. Now, the larger percent of what you make will have to be paid into that loan.
Richard Wolff keeps it simple. Banks only make money on two things: fees and interest. Yeah. Richard Wolff is always great on the topic. Savvy is great as well. She been leaving some great comments. I like this as well, because I didn't even mention this earlier. Biden is the reason we can't default on student loan debt.
Yeah.
People, when they talk about the evils of Joe Biden, they bring up the crime bill, which is understandable, right? Because that's horrible. But people don't talk about the bankruptcy bill and the war on children that Biden and Hillary Clinton waged by making it hard to forgive loan debts with loan sharking, with payday loans, like Joe Biden went to debt with them, went for back for them. He waged a war on children so bad, he made it harder for widows to recover their debt that they get from their husband because of the bankruptcy bill. Like, there's so many small details in that bill that not even discussed. Like, man, like the war that Joe Biden waged against the working class. I don't know how anyone. I mean, I get it if you don't know, but there are people who know. Like, I get the people who don't know. Like, that makes sense. But the people who know his crimes, that was like, yeah, this dude, the lesser two evils. That shit never makes sense to me. JB, what's your thoughts on this one? I just found this. Just student loan. The amount of student loan debt in the United States is $1.8 trillion and counting. Very normal system. Very smooth functioning system that's working for everybody, right?
Right. Yeah.
$1.8 trillion of debt that is not being spent in the economy, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not even a capitalist, but I know how your system works better than you guys do. Go ahead, JB. What are your thoughts? And then we can go through this article a little bit if you want.
Oh, remember last year? Let's go back in time. Last year, when the economy, basically the bottom fell out and the stock market was dropping like a rock. Well, of course, people like you and me, the stock market, since the stock market is 80% of, all the most wealthiest people own 80% of the entire stock market. So if the stock market's falling out, then we're like, yay, let's go, stock market fall. But the United States government decided to influx over $5 trillion to keep up the stock market. Imagine how many times over we could have paid everybody's student debt off. Maybe 3-4 times. So that being said, that could have been, it was just like the housing crisis when we leveraged the banks instead of actually saving people in their homes. This time we propped up the stock market instead of canceling or paying off everybody's student debt. One is a short-term gain with long-term losses. One is a short-term loss with long-term gains. And so guess what they did? They decided to side with the banks and side with the big business, and they decided to just pay on the stock market of the tune of almost, over $5 trillion, whereas they could have just canceled everybody's student loan debt right then and there. That would have helped the economy. But no, they couldn't. Why? Because that's their master. I was going to use a different word, but it wouldn't have been appropriate. But that's their master.
What's your takes on this comment, JB? Because this is something that we need to raise awareness of, and I've been talking about when I talk about the class war. Rich people can avoid their debt due to loopholes and accounting gimmicks unavailable to the average borrower. People are debt by design. The system is like, people don't understand how much the system is rigged for the capitalist oligarchy class, and not to mention, once again, benefits that they get that we don't get. Secret IRS files, Trove never been seen. Records reveal how the wealthiest avoid income tax. So I love jumping on here and showing these articles and stuff I'll be reading, guys, because it's openly available. Like, our system is rigged for the rich, but there are people who still there are like a large percentage of people who love Elon Musk, who stands like these billionaire capitalists who think they are doing something positive for our society. They are not. They are leeches. There are leeches that are destroying our community.
Yeah, they are. And people always want to praise these billionaires for what they have. And even like Sabi said yesterday, people like Elon Musk aren't even the biggest ones. The biggest ones, you don't even know their names. Their anonymity is where their power lies. And we're now at a point where people are now starting to question how they got their money. Because we lived in a system largely where you were considered essentially good just by having a lot of money. And it's like, who cares how they made it? It's that they made it. We're of the mind of, well, how did they make that money? And if we find out, because they exploited people for it, then that money was made unjustly. That money was stolen. They're thieves. And so therefore, I don't fuck with thieves. Not ones that like to take away, from people and exploit them. Like, who does that? And so, there's this mindset that people like Musk or Gates or, homeboy that owns the Raptors. I think it's the Raptors. I can't remember. Whatever the fuck one of those teams are. But somebody like them, somehow they're inherently good, or they inherently are just smarter or harder working. No, the fuck they're not. Hell no. You mean to tell me that the homeboy owner of Berkshire Hathaway somehow worked harder than my mama in her many, many years of working? You mean to tell me that somebody like Bill Gates somehow is just that much smarter than...
They think they work harder than the nurses that was putting in insane shifts. If you look at these billionaire and you look at these CEOs, they make thousands of times more than the healthcare workers that was on the front lines. Who I've seen a lot of them like tell stories of how they was on the edge of mental breakdown because they was worked so much. the demands on them for so little that they are getting. But the conservative mind, James, would say, oh, well, the reason why she makes thousands of times less than the CEO of the business or the healthcare administrator, like if you look at the highest level of the hospitals, if you look at, they're like, oh, the reason why she made that much less because they work way harder than her. Do you guys really believe this? Do people really believe that? Do people really believe that these CEOs who just play golf all day, there are people that highlight and whistleblow, like people who are like assistants of CEOs, like they were like, bro, these people, they just go, they have meetings maybe about 2-3 hours a day, then they golf, then they hang out in their really well designed office. They hang out all day, watch TV, they be on the internet, they on their phone talking to people. It's not hard work. But are you guys telling me these people work thousands of times harder than a construction worker? Like, this doesn't make sense. Are you telling me these people are thousands of times more valuable than a teacher? Like, this stuff, like, even like this is not even Marxist ideology that I'm telling you guys. This is basic common sense. Do you guys really believe these leeches that crash the economy? Like, they're not even good at what they do. The Wall Street executives who make thousands of times more than we do, they crash the economy every 10 years. They're like, oh, we pay them for their excellence. But James, what are your thoughts?
You want to hear something funny? I had a conservative friend he simps for billionaires. And every single time I talk shit about billionaires, he's basically saying that I'm committing hate speech against the ultra wealthy.
Good.
And I'm just like, what? I'm like, you know what's even worse than hate speech? Killing people. You know who's killing people? The billionaires, because they're extracting resources from people, from the money that they actually made, from the money they actually earned. You know what? They're making it so that people are dying without healthcare. They're dying without clean water. They're dying because they are being exploited and they're being bombed in other countries just so that these corporations can extract their profits. And you know what? I'll take my hate speech for billionaires over what the billionaires are doing to regular people. I'll take that. Because the thing is that ultimately they are killing humanity. They're literally murdering humanity. And people like Joe Biden and, I'll say it, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, George W. Bush, they are the facilitators of, in allowing this to happen. It's like the billionaires have a gun to humanity's head, and people like George W. Bush and Joe Biden have the extra clip of bullets sitting in their hand so that when they run out, they just hand it to them. That's basically what it is. They're facilitating it. They're allowing it to happen, and they're helping it.
You say you have a friend that stands billionaires, and I don't understand, and I almost laugh at these people in their face, because what is the logic behind thinking these billionaires are good for our society? And you're right when you say Joe Biden is complicit with policies that helping them out, because he actually cut taxes for the rich. As the corona pandemic worsened, the massive financial gap between the rich and poor around the world, a new report has found, millions fell into poverty. Billionaires' wealth soared, though. Mm-hmm. So in the middle of this pandemic, while people are struggling, while millions of people fell into poverty, is the wealth trickling down? Is your theory working? Something that, once again, Joe Biden believes in this. I reported on this before, and when he was vice president under Barack Obama, his job was to negotiate with Mitch McConnell. Barack Obama put Joe Biden in charge of doing that because he knows that Joe Biden had a long history of working with Republicans. Mm-hmm. Is this the story a lot of people telling you? Now I'm telling you guys, the reason why Barack Obama made the tax cut for the rich under George Bush permanent was because Joe Biden gave a press conference, and I covered this on my show, and he said he agrees with Mitch McConnell on this principle that if you give more money to the wealthy, it trickles down to the working class. This is something no one covered. He said this as vice president, and then he becomes president, and he does it again. Mm-hmm. with the Build Back Better, with the salt reduction tax, right?
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. How does this make sense? Okay, so the the logic behind what a lot of these economists and right-wing capitalist lovers, what they usually say is, as the billionaires make more money, then it should go, everybody else gets more and everybody else does better. But what have we been seeing in reality? It's like instead of going like this, it goes like this. And so if that's the case, then that means that the system is shitty. I mean, I don't really know what else to say. And I'm just at a point right now where I'm just like, this makes me even want to move even further to the left. Because why would I want to participate in a system that, encourages people to commit murder? Justin Johnson said, save the planet, eat the rich. Great show. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. I don't know, man. I just it's like each and every day I get to a point where I'm like, there's no reforming this system. You cannot save it at all.
The idea of reforming the system is a very comforting thought. It's one of the things that it's the tranquilizing drug of incrementalism. That is when MLK said that, when Martin Luther King analyzed how people use incrementalism as a way to make themselves feel better, that is on the money. That is what these people are doing. We can incrementally change to a Democratic Party. They are telling people that lie, even though we're not even getting incremental change, because it just makes people feel better. Like, especially if you're privileged to the idea, like, oh yeah, people are getting killed by the state, people are going homeless, but we were making things better if we just vote for the blue team. Like that thought even sounds good. Like, it makes people feel good, but it's not bound in reality. Reforming the police sounds good. That sounds safe.
Yeah.
But it's not. It doesn't accomplish anything in reality. But James, what are your thoughts?
Let me ask you this question. Have you ever asked somebody, especially somebody who's conservative, if there was no challenge at all from the left and the right could just do whatever the fuck they want and they actually got to where they wanted to achieve, what would that world look like? And they would probably paint some type of rosy picture of everything being, allegedly a capitalist paradise where, people make, their money and they are able to provide for themselves and, whatever. And it's very ultra individualistic, like each man and woman for themselves. But ultimately, we're already there. We're already in that paradise that the right wants. We're there. Because the Overton window has shifted so far to the right that it's a conservative world right now. Is your life better? I mean, I don't see it. Because the Overton window is shifted so far to the right that basically they get whatever they want. Look, if you're in the Republican Party, you don't have to worry about the Democratic Party because they're in league with you. So if they're in league with you, then what the hell do you have to worry about? You're getting what you want. Only thing that they really have to worry about is conservative issues.
Culture war, JB.
That's the last bastion for them. Once they win the culture war, it's completely theirs. They already won the economic war.
The thing, they already won the culture war too. I don't even know what conservatives bitch about, bro. Like, conservatives, you guys have won for the last 50 years. Like, you guys support Israel. We've been funding Israel. You guys hate immigrants. We've been deporting the shit out of immigrants. You guys hate Muslims. We've been bombing the shit out of Muslims. What are you guys complaining about?
Yeah.
Like, you guys won. Like, chill. Like, these people are, like, if you look at it, like the average MAGA person, they so wound up. Like, your guys' ideology won. You guys lost the election, but Trumpism still continues.
Yeah.
Like, what big policy that Trump accomplished that Biden just immediately rolled back? Don't worry, I'll wait.
Mm-hmm.
But Trump trying to coup Venezuela, but Biden like, I got your back. I'm gonna continue that. Trump was like, all right, I'm gonna help Israel commit their genocide against Palestine. And then Trump lost. Then Biden like, don't worry. Anthony Blinken, Biden like, don't worry, I got your back. We're gonna continue that for you, bro. Donald Trump was a puppet of Saudi Arabia, and Donald Trump was like, bro, I don't want to punish them for killing Jamal Khashoggi. Then Biden got in office. He's like, don't worry, I'm not gonna do that either. I got you, bro. The people are on the same side. So I look at a lot of MAGA people, and I look at anyone who, if you're a Republican or a Democrat, you are extremely misguided. Like, you're extremely misguided to believe any of these people support you or believe in you, right?
Yeah. Gary Seff said Biden built tornado-proof private prisons. What would he fucking do?
Someone asked me on Twitter, and they were saying it's a good faith. I'm not mad at them, but they was like, why don't you ever invite right-wing populists on your show? Someone asked me that on Twitter, and I simply said, like, what is a right-wing populist? What is that? What is that? That doesn't make sense. That's an oxymoron. Mm-hmm. Populist means ideas that are supported by a popular movement. What is popular from what conservatives are preaching? Abortion is not even popular among their own base. If you poll Republicans and ask them, do you think we should get rid of abortion? They're like, nah, we shouldn't do that. Despite the narrative, they actually don't believe that. If you ask Republicans, should we cut taxes on the wealthy? Should we go to war? They'd be like, no, we shouldn't do that. So what is this? What is right-wing populist that you're talking about? Like Saiger from The Rising, he calls himself a right-wing populist, but Saiger is against weed. Legalizing weed is one of the most popular policies in the country. So when you say, Nick, why don't you talk to right-wing populists? You asking me why I'm not talking to a unicorn. It doesn't exist. So that's my take on that.
Justin Johnson says, consider having Bo of the Fifth Column. I would like to I wouldn't mind definitely having a conversation with him. He actually lives in Florida. So, I mean, he seems like a pretty cool guy. I mean, I watch a lot of his shows, and he has some really great takes. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't mind, having a conversation with him. He has a large channel too, large following. But he's pretty chill. He's pretty cool. I've listened to some of his takes, and I would like to see that. Who's someone like Sagar? Allegedly, Josh Hawley, I think. Allegedly, I say that kind of.
So there's a lot of confusion about this whole conversation because Josh Hawley is my senator, right? Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of people that are like, they consider themselves left of center who like Saiger or whatever, and he's not the worst conservative, obviously, because he talks about some good issues, but he's a neocon too. Mm-hmm. And Jackson Hinkle did a good job exposing that. He one of the people that pushes the Cold War narrative against China, and he's anti-weed, which means he supports the new Jim Crow. That's strike 1 and 2. Like, and then you can keep going, but I don't know his entire biography. But there are things I see, I'm like, what? Why is he popular? But I'm not trying to drop a diss track, but it's like the reason I'm talking about him is because the idea of right-wing populism and who likes like Josh Hawley. Josh Hawley is a great example to bring up because once again, he's my senator, so I pay attention to this weasel. This guy pretends that he's like, oh, I'm a Republican, but I'm a new style Republican. I actually support fighting the working class. It's the West Coast elites. It's the liberal elites that are destroying the working class. It's the Democratic parties that support Republicans. But then you had in the middle of the COVID crisis, we were like, yo, can we get people UBI? Let's give people health care. Let's cancel people still in debt. And Josh Hawley was like, no, we can't do that. I thought you was the working class, bro. Like, you see what they do? They just use the language, but in the policies, it's nowhere to be found. Yeah. And he take culture war issues, and he was like, I oppose mandates, so this is why I'm working class. Even though I support your manager paying you not a living wage, even though I support tax cut for the wealthy, like these are the kind of stuff. These people are frauds. At the end of the day, like, so people, and this is Savvy. I always love seeing Savvy's comments here. He is pro-war. Mm-hmm. Saiger pro-war. Josh Hawley, at the end of the day, is pro-war. He was getting mad at Joe Biden about how he put out Afghanistan. He was talking about these people say they anti-imperial. That's another thing Josh Hawley says. But he support the coup against Venezuela and getting rid of Nicolas Maduro. That's imperialism, bro. You're not anti-war. You're not anti-war if you support sanctions. He supports sanctions against Venezuela. I can keep going and going. Like these people are like the idea of right-wing populism is a myth. And shame on Crystal Ball, shame on Kyle Kalinske. These people give credence to that idea. Like this is a thing. It's not a thing. They only do it because they know they can get that right-wing audience as well. They are very smart at marketing. We're not doing that. We're building a movement here. So instead of me appeasing these people, I'm gonna tell you how it is. Right-wing populism is not a thing. I talk to many of these people. Or if you're not anti-police, which a lot of these people say we're right-wing populists, but they support giant police budgets. They support the surveillance state. Like what? No, you're not. If you support the police state, you are an anti-working class. The police state imposed regressive fines and fees on the working class. Mm-hmm. You cannot say you pro-working class if you support the surveillance state, like a lot of them do.
Oh yeah, and also remember during the George Floyd protests that Crystal and Sagar had this explosive, I wouldn't say explosive, but it was a heated argument basically about the protesters versus what the police were doing. And Sagar was on the side of the police. So it's like, yeah, dude, you could claim to be right-wing populist, but
and the funny thing is, like, I've been smeared as red, brown lines. That's why I've been aggressively attacking the idea. Because they said, oh, Nick said he want to work with conservatives on healthcare reform. So he want to make a red, brown alliance. Meanwhile, you guys are working for someone. You guys want to work for someone who supports the new Jim Crow. Like, if you have someone like Sagar who supports the police and he supports, and he want to keep the prohibition of marijuana in place, which he does. That's his position. You guys are siding with people that support the white supremacist police state, but you want to wag your finger at activists who want to get health care? Do you guys see the hypocrisy? The same people who wag our finger at people who have conservatives at the Medicare for All March, or we had someone they disagree with at the General Strike Summit. These same people work with fucking imperialists. These same people work with Jim Crow Joe warriors, like the dude Jim Crow warrior. That's what Sagar is. And just because he's good on a few issues, just because you think you should have healthcare, does not get rid of the fact that he still want to impose regressive fines and fees on the black community, because that's what he believes in if you support the police state, which he does. What's your thought, James?
Are we horrible people because Wendell Potter is a conservative that believes in Medicare for all, and we're willing to work with him to get Medicare for all? Like, no, because the thing is, look, what happened last year when Donald Trump said that, well, maybe we should put every American under Medicare, just at least temporarily for the duration of the pandemic? How many people who are supposed to be on the left were like, yes, Donald Trump, do it. You can even call it Trump care. We don't care. And they're willing to side with Trump on Medicare for all. And yet, when we had, when we are trying to push for something and, on our own terms, that is on the left, really, then we're talked about as a red-brown alliance. I mean, look, if Donald Trump was willing to have diplomatic negotiations with North Korea instead of going to war, cool, okay, fine, great, because that means less people die. And, and oh my God, it's stupid because we're trying to achieve these things, and a broken clock is right twice a day. So at that point in time, what they're actually correct, all right, then let's make it happen. And so, yeah, it's like, cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Medicare for all is the united intent for the working class to build around. And guess who doesn't talk about Medicare for all anymore? Guess who only care about dividing the working class into, oh my God, these people are Jimmy Dore stands. I don't want to work with them. Oh my God, these people are X or that. These people only care about dividing the working class. Oh my God, these people are anti-vax. These people are this. These people are, like, that's all they care about, bro. You notice that these same people don't talk about Medicare for all anymore. They don't want to challenge Biden to the left on that issue, so they don't talk about it. Even though they are right. That is the uniting tent pole for the working class. Because I talk to conservatives and I straight up use their language against them. Like, bro, how can you call yourself a patriot if you're willing to let your neighbor die because he can't afford his medicine? What kind of country can you be patriotic in if you believe someone who worked their ass off their entire life? And this happens all the time, by the way. People work their entire life building a career, building wealth, and then they catch cancer at age 50 or something. And then they lose their entire life savings battling cancer instead of passing that money down to their kids to help build wealth. That happened to the Black community. That happened in a lot of disenfranchised communities all the time. You build your wealth, you get sick, you lose all your money because you get sick and funeral costs. Look how stupid this system is. And you can tell this to conservatives, the people who are not on the Ben Shapiro Fox News Kool-Aid, and they're like, you're right. You're right. And I know because I had those conversations.
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine if we only work with folks who agree with us all the time.
That's just stupid. That's CIA tactics. Like, whenever you hear someone say that shit, we just talk about CIA tactics on the student loan debt panel we was on. We talk about all the time. That's the divide and conquer nonsense that they do, and it's shocking to me. Like, ever since I've been in this space, it's shocking to me when I see people fall for it. I see people fall for it over and over again.
I had a friend that started to move further to the right at one point in time, but then economically, shit hit the fan for him. And he also saw how he was being treated at work by his job. He saw how he was treated by cops. And he was like, he told me, he said, I only voted for Trump is because I just saw everything that Biden was doing and I just hated it. And I believed Trump. He said, I don't like Trump at all. I just thought he was the lesser of two evils. And I was like, you know what? I don't necessarily agree with voting for Trump, but I can see your logic. But, and I said, wouldn't it be better if, you could, have a say over your job and be able to have your pay as a living wage so you wouldn't be suffering and struggling like you are, and he agreed. And he agrees with things like universal health care. And he agrees with a lot of leftist ideas. But does that mean, and somebody like him, if you gave him the opportunity to vote for universal health care, he'd do it like that.
You notice that. Sorry, JB.
No, go ahead.
Also, I want to give a shout out to Robin. Let's do this for a second.
Oh wait! Happy birthday, Robin! I wanted to say your happy birthday to you on stream. I knew it was a couple of days ago, but happy belated birthday, babe.
Yeah, happy birthday, Robin. If you guys, I saw people like, yo, we love the dope logo and the new logo we got. That's Robin. The General Strike Summit, the graphics that we had, that's Robin. And she said she battled cancer, had massive medical debt for being born with a flaw in my mismatch repair gene. And this is, if you're one of the people who are the minority, the very strong minority at this point that don't support Medicare for all and cancer medical debt, what is the crime that Robin commit for you? Well, like, what did she do wrong to go into medical debt and to and be financially burdened because of getting cancer? Like, that's why when people say they have all these, I tweeted this out before, they have these weird litmus tests. They're like, oh, I want to work for this guy. I want to work with people who did this. How about this litmus test for you? I'll draw a line and stand right now. If you don't support healthcare as a human right, I do not feel comfortable working with you. There's something fundamentally wrong with the way you think that I do not trust you in community with me. But meanwhile, the same people who want to smear us as red, brown lions, they are willing to work with Joe Biden and the Democratic Party, Nancy Pelosi, the people who believe that Robin and people who go into debt because they get cancer, that they did something wrong. That's your position. Stop sugarcoating it. That's their position. If you don't support Medicare for all, that's your position. If you don't believe in cancer and student loan, medical debt. Well, both of them, but you know.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there's one more interesting comment, James. I read this, and I want to get your thoughts on it because I was reading some comments. He said, "Yo, sub to the channel because some other channel was talking shit about you." We love to see it. We love to see it.
Division and alienation are the tools of the state apparatus. We are reduced to social commodities to dispose of. Yo, real talk. That second sentence, you're absolutely correct. Number one,
fire, man.
Number two, thank you to whoever was talking shit about us. Thank you.
That's why when people was lying about the general strike summit, I was like, go ahead, lie about it. Because then people like Hassan, people like David Dole, they lied about the general strike summit. And then people were like, all right, I'm going to tune in and I'm going to laugh at these people for not having UN organizers. Then they came in and they're like, oh, shit, this shit's actually fire. Like, they actually talking about mutual aid, Black Panther mutual aid system. We actually talking to union strike leaders who call for the general strike right now. Mm-hmm. Like one of the union leaders we talked to, and Rome talked to him again. Actually, you guys can check that out. I think JB was on the panel. Yeah. He on in the general strike summit, he said that people need to stop getting hung up on whether you're Republican or Democrat. And there are a lot of people in unions that are starting to realize this. And so we got to stop focusing on whether people are red or blue. We need a working class coalition. That's a union leader that said that. Guess who's been saying that as well? And guess who's against that idea? The people who've been smearing us as red, brown lines. The people that smeared the Medicare for All March for having concern. These people are wrong, and you can tell. And this is why I've been calling out the boutique left, because if they would just talk to workers, if they actually talk to union organizers instead of their MSNBC boutique left circle, they would know that this is the ideology of workers and the idea of separating people into camps. That is actually fringe. Like people actually they are repelled by the idea. But James, you got any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that's anti-solidarity. One thing that I want to do is I'm going to put in Robin's coffee in the chat so you guys can subscribe to her coffee because she does great work.
Yeah, support Robin. Support Robin.
Yeah, and
he did not end up subscribing for that guy. Anyway, that's funny. Anyway, yeah, support Robin. Support Robin.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm gonna share this really quick on my screen just so that you guys can see. This is Robin's coffee channel. Go ahead and give her a subscribe. She does great, amazing work. So
real tip her because she made our logos. Like she did the Jones Strike logos. She did our logo for our YouTube channel. And I wish we was in a position where we can like pay everyone a ton of money, but it's the reality situation we're not. So if you guys want to help support the people that help us out, that's what we want. I would love to see that.
Yeah, definitely. So if you guys can do that, then we really appreciate it. And thank you so much for all the super chats, by the way, everybody.
Thank you. Shout out for Intermediary Fossil. We got another one for Craig King. All the support means a lot. Until we focus on our similarities. Damn, sorry, I'm struggling today. Rather than our differences, the division in this country will increase. That is the message we've been saying. James, sorry, go ahead. That's the message we've been saying. People got mad at me for saying this stuff, man. It doesn't make sense to me. This is the anti-solidarity that like the Sam Cedars and the boutique left is promoting, right?
Yeah, let me say this, and this is what Craig is saying right in the super chat. Thank you very much. But this is also what you're saying, Nick. You're saying that if we focus on displaying empathy, we can make our world better. That's ultimate. Empathy is the solid foundation for solidarity. And I want everybody to get this through their head. Start putting yourself in the other people's shoes and think about what they're going through. And if you know the answer to what they're going through and how you can make it better, talk to them. And yes, they're going to have some shitty takes. And yes, they're going to have things wrong. Why? Because they are propagandized. And so in order to do that, we have to talk to them. And maybe, just maybe, we have to repeat the same thing over and over and over again. But guess what? You're leaving seeds in that person's brain. And then guess what? They're going to go, holy shit, I saw exactly what you meant. This isn't the way to go. We have to, be more rational and go in the direction where it would be best for us as human beings, and being more collectivist and having solidarity with other people is the way to go. And so I appreciate, like, because this is basically what Nick has been saying. People like Sabby always says it's about class. It's not about the politics, it's about class. And so ultimately, that's what we've been seeing. Robert Hutchins says, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, my bad.
No, it's okay.
But he pretty much he left the good just let the positive comment said the best left the gem on YouTube. Thank you. That way his comment said. So thank you for the positive comment. Craig, another great comment from my man here. Democrats 2024, no promises left to break. That's a funny that's a campaign slogan they would use if they were forced to be truthful. Like if somehow in an alternate reality you were forced to be truthful in your campaign slogan, that they'll be forced to say that. Because Republicans be like, Republicans 2024, we hate the poor. Fuck you. That'll be their slogan.
Yeah. And just like I remember when I was oh no, you weren't at the round table this time. But one of the things that I brought out was the Democratic Party, their plan was never to win. I'm going to lay some truth on y'all. The plan is actually to lose in 22. They plan on it. They want to, because they agree with the Republicans. They agree with them so much they actually want them in power. Because that's how they make their money. That's how they fundraise. So that they can paint the Republicans as the big bad, boogeyman. And then you go to Act Blue and you donate your $27. And then guess what? Now they got your money, and they're still going to prop up the Republicans, because when it comes down to it, when it comes down to the votes in the House and the Senate, there's going to be, number one, there's going to be a rotating villain. So they're going to make excuses of why they can't fight against Republicans on certain things. Or number two, while they're not in power, they're going to keep saying, oh, well, donate to us so that we can build ourselves up so that we can go against the Republicans next time. And then they do the exact same shit over and over and over. Look, peep the game. Take a look at it. This is one of the reasons why I'm independent. This is one of the reasons why Nick is independent, because we see the game. And people, do not allow yourself. Don't stop fooling for the bullshit.
The thing, JB, they know the game too, but then they are so delusional. Like the people who believe that you're gonna have like a progressive take over the Democratic Party, that somehow you're gonna outmaneuver Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden at their own game. So they acknowledge that there is a game, but their strategy is, oh, we're gonna beat them at their game. Explain how. They got the capital. They got all the capital. How are you gonna beat them in their capitalist game? So remember when Nina Turner ran, the most popular person who's not elected as a progressive, she lost because of capital. So if Nina Turner can't do, who's gonna do it? How much money of the proletariat are you guys gonna waste with this experiment, right? Because it's about peeping the game. They peep the game, but then their strategy they sell to us is inefficient. And there's efficient ways you can use electoral politics, but the movement, one leader style of taking over Congress and Senate, that is not it. That is not it. Electing progressive police commissioners, progressive mayors, that's the route I would endorse, because that is what Casey Tennant did as well. So there's actually left mutual aid-based organizations that engage in local electoral politics. But a lot of the progressive boutique left, they mislead people into thinking that, oh, we can take over the Senate, we can take over the Congress. Like, this is ridiculous. That is not the goal that we have right now to build a revolution. But sorry, James, I just want to get into that briefly.
No, that's a good point. So, and you kind of made me think about this. Why would I put a horse in the ocean to fight against a shark? That's their territory. Why would I do that? Why would I think that a horse, like some progressive in Congress, can go against a shark like Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer. They're sharks. That's their territory. They know what to do. And so I should have said donkey, but still, the point still stands, right?
But think about it. Remember that Nancy Pelosi article that we covered a long time ago? How Nancy Pelosi tamed the squad and how they got pretty much the squad doing their bidding now. And it was the way they did was so simple. They broke them down, and now they completely depowered the progressives. The progressives went in. They were like, all right, we're gonna be in the system. Battle you. Nancy Pelosi was like, bro, no, the fuck you're not. You better get in line right now. I would slap you. That pretty much what Nancy Pelosi told them. Like,
slap her with a bar of ice cream.
As a movement, we was like, yo, I don't think we should vote. We don't think you should vote for Nancy Pelosi because she's a corrupt warmonger that was complicit with torture. How is that unreasonable? You should. So force the vote was to my right, guys. But I agree with the strategy because my position was we shouldn't vote for her, period, because she's corrupt beyond imagining with inside trading. She was complicit with torture under George Bush. We shouldn't vote for her. But Nancy Pelosi looked at them. I dare you. She looked at AOC and them. I dare you to entertain the idea of not voting for me. And they fell in line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that will happen after only 2 years of them playing that inside game with them. Right, JB?
Yeah. I mean, she basically threatened to slap him in the face with a chocolate Dove bar. I mean, let's be real. And so...
And I take no, like, that actually a sad turning of events. Like, when I had to reach the conclusion that squad has sold us out and they were not what I thought they was, that was a sad moment for me. That was a moment, but I was like, all right, I'm gonna let this push me to the left even more. Mm-hmm. Like when I was disappointed by the progressive establishment, I was like, okay, I'm gonna allow this to push me to the left some more.
Yeah.
It's sad, though. It's sad. They got crushed. Like, if you want to be objective, I know that's gonna hurt people's feelings. But if you look at objectively speaking, they got crushed. They got crushed by the establishment. Like, they endorsed Neera Tanden. That's how fucking cuck they was. Neera Tanden was the most toxic DNC operative of all time. She hated Bernie Sanders. She was friends with people who were openly anti-Semitic against Bernie Sanders. Some guy was like, Bernie's a fake fucking Jew. And Neera Tanden was friends with that guy. She hated Bernie Sanders with a burning passion. But the Justice Democrats and Bernie kneeled to her and gave her a job. Well, she got denied by the Republicans, saying not the progressives, but then Biden gave her a job anyway because they had to kneel. So that's not me being edgy, bro. That's not me trying to piss Bernie people off. That's me saying the objective reality of what happened. The objective reality of what happened is that despite all the crimes of Neera Tanden, the progressive kneeled to her. And that was deeply embarrassing to me. Like, that's one of the things I'm like, bro, I was almost ashamed I ever supported you guys when I saw that. Like, and you guys dishonored your fault. The people who donated to you, the people who believed in you, like, you dishonored them so much by doing that. The people who were smeared, like, there were a ton of progressives that were smeared by Neera Tanden. I wasn't one of them because I wasn't in the business. I wasn't in this dialogue then. But there were a ton of, like, Bernie people that were smeared by her. There were a ton of working class activists that were smeared by her. But you guys bent the knee to her. That was a massive disrespect to the movement. But that's my take on that. James, anything?
Yeah, dude. Don't you hate, like, with people who are thinking that you're being contrarian by saying what you're saying? I mean, would it be fair to say that there are many instances where you actually hate being right? I mean, I don't like this. Like, you know what? I'm going to put it this way. I want there to be a system where revolutionary blackout wouldn't even need to exist. We would just be like, there's nothing really for us.
They forced our hand because we was like, where's the Black Leftist Proletariat Network? They forced our hand. I was trying to do this. I got kind of like persuaded to do this on the way of me reporting on my citizen journalism work when I was canvassing. And then we was like, bro, remember me, you, and CJ and Ron? We was like, bro, there's this giant lane. Like all these brilliant people that we were talking to, the brilliant people that we introduced in our community, they're not being platformed by the boutique left. Like if you look at Majority Report, once again, big props to Jimmy Dore. He actually do prop up a lot of Black content creators, not even just us, but he propped up Tim Black back in the day, Nico House as well. So I always give Jimmy Dore props on that. But if you look at the TYT crowd, the the Cal Kalinske, the Crystal Ball, like the establishment progressive left, they would never give the working class black leftists a chance. Like they will talk to like Brown Joy Gray, Dr. Cornel West, for example, but it's very classist. Like there's a very high barrier of entry for you to enter their dialogue. So we saw that this lane existed. That's why we created, formerly known as FHL, but the idea was having a Black Leftist Network. So we can actually have a platform. And people are upset because we want to speak for ourselves. We tired of the white saviors. The white saviors that think they can speak for disenfranchised communities. Let's have our own shit. And I said when I first started, I would love to see an indigenous version of this. I would love to see a Latino version of this. I would love to see a Southwest Asian version of this. You know what I mean? So I would love to see that happen. But that's my take on that. Sorry, Jay.
No, yeah. And there's, look, I came into the space with, and I still feel like I don't do very well in this space and I got a lot of work to do. But my thing is, look, I forget my words. Well, part of that's because dialysis and I get brain fog a lot. I'm not the most eloquent person. I don't have a college education, but I do have a voice. And I mean, having groups like this and having more actual working class people, and you do not have to have a college education. You don't have to have all these different credentials, especially to cis and trans women out there. Don't downplay, your knowledge and your voice. If you guys feel like you guys want to come into space, or if you're a writer, get a Substack or something. But we are always out of the equation. And I think, I forgot who said it, but somebody said that they were talking about, was it Black Lives Matter or something like that, and they had on David Sirota. I can't remember exactly the exact situation, but it was like, wait a minute, y'all couldn't get one of us to talk about these issues.
This is what the TYT boutique left will do. And once again, this is talking about the power dynamic media. They're like, we're gonna talk about George Floyd. We're gonna talk about this black issue. Here, I have Sam Cedar here with me. I have Vosh here with me. Vosh and Charlie Kirk had a debate about critical race theory. Two white dudes. You guys
Wait, what?
And then in their debate about critical race theory, Vosh was pushed by Charlie Kirk about reparations. And then Vosh said, I believe in reparations, but I think they should be based on class, not race.
Ooh.
Hold
up.
This was the person who was sent as the leftist representative and person who was supposed to speak for us. You guys see the problem here? You guys see the problem?
Wait. Hold on. Nick, back the truck the fuck up.
I covered this a long time ago on my show. I didn't want to make
what was that? Because I don't remember you bringing this up. This is my initial reaction to them debating about reparations.
I can't find it. I don't know if I can find the clip, but to give you guys some context, you guys can look it up because it was a big event. I told you guys I'm a political nerd, so I like to watch random events. I don't even tweet about most of them, and I swear to God, I was watching the Charlie Kirk and Vosh debate just because I was like, I want to see what the fuck happens here, just as a nerd. But I had no intention to tweet about it. Like what I heard, I was watching the debate, and I heard the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Where James, they were talking about reparations, and they was debating critical race theory, right? And then Charlie Kirk was like, Vosh, Vosh, how can you have reparations? How do you know who gets the reparations? And then Vosh was like, well, actually, I don't think you should get reparations based on race. I think it should be based on class. And I'm like, bro, every single black leftist in America fucking will flip out. This is the guy that people. This is crazy.
Wait. Nick.
This is the guy who Cal Kalinske had on his show.
Hold on. Nick, you see you see this right here? This is my initial reaction. Bruh, you mean to tell me that they couldn't find one black leftist? One. We got 8 on. We got 8 just on our network. And you mean to tell me they couldn't find one to discuss this? To have this debate about critical race theory?
See, this is a tweet I sent at the time. Like, I'll apologize, guys, because this wasn't a prepared segment. So I wish I can find the segment, but if you want to see the shit show, it was hilarious. But this is why I tweeted at the time. I said Vulture said during his debate with Charlie Kirk that we should pay reparations not based on race, but based on class. Reparations is a debt owed. Like, this is basic knowledge. Like, if you're a black leftist, you watching Vosh, what is wrong with you? Like, Vosh also told me that black people should vote for their oppressors. That's what he told me. Why are you watching him?
That bullshit.
And he said, this is why I said, this is why you don't have two white dudes debating critical race theory. And this is my take on Vosh in general. Vosh doesn't drag right-wingers to the left. He turns them to Vosh fans and Biden voters. That's what he do. I wish I could find the clip. But even, they were so bad. There was even some Vosh fans, like, they didn't even go after me like that, right? Like, this guy said the Vosh is going to come after me. I'm like, bro, they hate me anyway. They hate me because I said we shouldn't vote for Joe Biden. And everything that Voss said why we should vote for Joe Biden, his platform, it didn't happen.
Wait. What did that guy say? He said that attitude, hang on, scroll down. Said that attitude
live
could have let Trump stay in office. What?
Bro, Voss fans are shitless, bro. It's actually, we kind of, sorry, guys, we roasting people right now. We having fun, but.
Did this Jew seriously butt Trump you?
Yeah, that's what they do. They do that to me all the time. So anyway, I wish I had the clip because the actual it's actually why the hell can't I see anything? Anyway, because even it was interesting because even people who like Voss saw that and was like, oh, that was actually kind of cringe. Like, that was actually horrible. But that was the left representative, and that's why we created a network, because we had these white dudes. Like, once again, Kyle Kalinske platformed Voss, and he was like, I think Voss is an interesting person. This is how they think. Instead of talking to black left, this is who they talk to. And this is the guy who said we shouldn't have reparations based on race, even though reparations is a debt owed. Like, we built this country. You guys stole our wealth. And this is concepts and ideas that these people don't even understand. Sorry, I don't know how this even got brought up, but we having fun today. So
slavery was based on race, so therefore, and Jim Crow laws were based on race, so therefore reparations should be based on race. Now, should reparations be paid to everyone who is a descendant of slave throughout the Western Hemisphere? Yes, absolutely. But the whole thing about it being based on race is because the original laws were based on race, and in effect, those people within that race. So, and the thing is that the whole thing about he likes Vosh because he's interesting. Nick, you're interesting. Why won't he have you on? I think that would be an amazing conversation.
The boutique left is terrified of me. And I'm at the point where it's almost alert because you guys seen it. I ratio Hassan because I asked for him to come on the show, and in response to Hassan fans with Melon, they're like, "No, he don't owe you shit." Like, bro, he talked about our show on his show. He talked about the Jones Strike Summit on his stream, and you don't want to talk to me? Like, what? How are people endorsing this cowardly shit? Like, I didn't look for a beef with Hassan. I didn't call Hassan out first. Hassan found the Jones Strike Summit and then decided to make a reaction video about it that was filled with lies and innuendo. So instead of me, and I actually took the classy way out because I could have easily like, fuck you, motherfucker. I'll fuck you up if I see you. You a piece of shit. I could easily did like that route, right? But I'll reply to him. I simply was like, do you want to invite me on and explain to me why you got a critique of working class black people talking about labor? And I ratioed him by saying that. And he got almost 1 million followers, right? So people act like, and people say this all the time. They be like, oh, Nick just called out Hassan because he want to get clout. He just want to go on Hassan's show. But Hassan started this shit. So what is your implication? Are you saying that this big popular streamer is allowed to attack me over and over again, but I'm not allowed to respond? What kind of classist shit is this? That somehow if I respond and ask for a conversation, I'm looking for clout because he has a big platform. So he's allowed to punch down and shit on us over and over and over again, but I'm not allowed to respond. Is that your argument, David Dole? Because he's the one who was criticizing us for that, right? But anyway, I'll move on. But you know, I gotta rant about this every once in a while because you gotta address the lies. You see these stuff being said about you. Like, I see people say, "Oh yeah, man, they could just want to cloud chase the time." No, I'm the kind of dude. If you got a problem with me, say it to my face. This is Midwestern values. Like, this is how I grew up. You never talk shit behind my back. And then I was like, bro, just invite me on my show, and I bet you it won't go well for you. And he backed down because he thinks he's better than me. It's a classist mentality. And that was the Hassan fans' mentality, that the Hassan is too good for me. He's above my level, above my pay grade. How can you call yourself a leftist if you have this classist ideology? How is it a bad thing to have one socialist have a conversation with another one?
Well, look what Sabby said, though.
So let's put this in the bag. Let's put this in the bag now. But that's me addressing it, right? That's me addressing the whole thing. We put it in the bag because that's what was going on. And that's why I continue to ask for dialogue for Hassan, because the second that he made that reaction video, he fucked up. The second that he put our video, he put our General Strike Summit and made money off of our General Strike Summit. The second he did that, he owes me a conversation as far as I'm concerned, right?
Yeah.
But go ahead, James.
No, Sabby said they literally block black leftists. That's why you always see the same black person. And
the whole TYT crowd got me blocked. Anna Consparian, all of them.
Yeah.
Ben Dixon. They're like out of sight, out of mind. Outside, out of mind. Hell no. Nah. He's shattering all of our political dogma. We can't have him around.
Well, that whole out of sight, out of mind, that's what they do to poor people, and that's what they do to working class people. Out of sight, out of mind, right? You know, yeah, it's crazy because they want to punch down, but it's like, how many of us do you actually have a conversation with? If you're not having a conversation with us, who are you having a conversation with? I mean, and mind you, David Dole was one of the people that had who was on with a couple people who were criticizing the General Strike Summit. And let me say this. They stayed on 1 2-minute clip. That's it. How many hours was the General Strike Summit? 36 hours of content. 36 hours, and they stayed on 1 2-minute clip that was on YouTube, or that was on Twitter. They didn't even want to go straight to YouTube to show it. And so because of that, the goal is always keep things out of context so that it can fit their narrative. That's not being an honest actor.
You want to read this comment? I think this is a good comment. I'll let you read it, though.
Okay. Thomas Oklahoma says, the left is supposed to be about civil rights and class reform instead the new left are white class reductionists. They made me leave progressiveness. They can't win without the minority vote.
Yeah, funny story. You guys, and a lot of people who support me for a while, like Robin probably know QKR, but I used to be the progressive martial artist on YouTube. But you guys see I changed that name. I was like, bro, I do not want to be associated with the progressives anymore. The progressives sold us out to the police state. And like you said, they were supposed to be about civil rights, but instead about being for civil rights, they're now pushing like mandates that was supposed to be against the ACLU, and that was an anti-progressive position years ago. They are supporting the rise of the surveillance states in supporting the increased funding of the Capitol Police, and they gave them more surveillance. Like, they are actually silent on Julian Assange, and there's actually a large percentage of them that is familiar with Julian Assange. So not only are they not talking about civil rights, they are taking the opposite position. They are for social media censorship. They were cheering people getting their Facebook page taken down. I remember when Fiorella Isabel for the Convo Couch, when she was temporarily banned from Twitter, the entire progressive shit-lib left was cheering about it. They were cheering about her reporting on Honduras and Nicaragua elections and debunking U.S. talking points, so they banned her and they cheer for it. So, and people wonder why I'm calling them out and why I don't consider them allies. They are actually on the opposing side of our fight for civil rights. They are on the opposing side of our fight against the national security state, and that's a fact. That's a fact. That's why they're not talking about Julian Assange, who they are killing right now. He just had a stroke. They are actively killing a journalist right now. Do you guys know that the max penalty for what they accusing Julian Assange of doing for is 5 years? He's been tortured by the United States government for 10 years now. So even if you take the most shit-lived take possible that you think Julian Assange is guilty, he been served his term. It was only a 5-year term max. But these people don't care. They don't care. They are watching this dude get tortured because they believe he helped Trump win in 2016. These people are evil. So I don't tolerate people who think I'm being unreasonable when I call them out, because this is real, deeply serious policies and implications I am talking about.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, oh my God, he hurt my feelings. Oh my God, you see his take on this? No, I'm saying you are taking a position that is siding with the national security state that is threatening press freedoms. That is substantive criticism. That is not the bullshit that you guys do. Oh my God, Jimmy Dore has a house. Oh my God, they got right wingers on the June Strike Summit. You guys see the stupid shit that they focus on versus what we focus on?
Nick, isn't this, people have to be real. This is some life or death shit.
Yes.
Like, Julian Assange could die.
They are killing him.
They're literally killing him.
The CIA planned to kill. Sorry, James. Sorry, go ahead.
No. They're literally trying to kill him. They're trying to silence Stephen Dodginger. Look at what they did to Reality Winner. Look at what they did to Chelsea Manning. Look at what they're trying. What they're trying to do, in Venezuela. Look what they're trying to start a war with China. People's lives are on the line. And you know whose lives will be wasted? Ours. Our kids, our nieces, our nephews, our brothers, our sisters. Because guess what? The billionaires aren't going to send their kids out there. No. And so, and whose lives are going to be under surveillance? Our kids. It's not going to be the billionaires' kids. They're cool. They're good. They'll always be protected. Look at Epstein and look at all his cohorts. They're protected. So they can do whatever the fuck they want. And guess what? They're not going to see any consequence from their actions. And so we're not under protection. And in order to do that, we have to fight against this. But that also means fighting also against the people who are selling you bullshit just so that they can, have more people donate to their Patreon. Fuck this.
I'm trying to see if I can find the clip that was exposing people, because I guess we stumbled into a Assange segment. It don't have to be long, but it's like, do you guys understand how crazy this is? And you have the neoliberal establishment that and the weakness of the progressives is extremely shocking on this. They are killing this guy for reporting on the crimes of the U.S. government. That is what they're doing, and people pretend that's normal. And I want to show you guys what's the kind of society that we live in. This was tweeted by one of my favorite accounts, Sarah. This is the war criminal U.S. presidents that we have, right? George Bush, 70,000 bombs in 5 countries. Donald Trump, 73,000 bombs in 5 countries. Barack Obama, the warmongering goat. The Michael Jordan of war crimes. Slay King, 100,000 bombs in 7 countries. More than George Bush and Donald Trump, by the way. Meanwhile, they're free. They're doing press tours. Donald Trump was recently he was at some sort of like football game, wasn't he? I saw conservatives was like, they're like, oh my God, Donald Trump, our hero, our cult leader is here. He did some public appearance. Meanwhile, he dropped 73,000 bombs in 5 countries. This guy giving press tours. Barack Obama getting Netflix deals after dropping 100,000 bombs in 7 countries. George Bush was rehabilitated by the liberal class. Michelle Obama's good friend, 70,000 bombs in 5 countries. Meanwhile, Julian Assange is being actively killed by our government. Just had a stroke. He's in prison. And despite the fact that it was recently revealed the CIA was trying to kill him, the UK and their corrupt government as well, that is in tandem with the neoliberal regime that we are under, decided to extradite Assange, despite the threat to his life, right? Despite the fact that we know the CIA is going to kill them. Despite the fact that we know he's going to have horrible conditions that will kill him. Anyway, sorry. That's my mini Assange segment. What's your thoughts, James? You're muted.
If we don't have press freedom, what do we have? If we can't talk about these things, like without press freedom, you guys wouldn't be able to watch us right now because we'd be in the shitter right now. Like they would silence us every single day. Give me 1 second. Nick, take over for just a second. I'm gonna come back, and when I come back, I'm gonna display something about press freedom.
All right,
Hang
cool.
on.
This is my show. It's my time now. Hold up. Wrong button. There we go. This is my time now. So, if you guys don't understand why this is such a dangerous precedent that's being set, I once again I want to frame everything in terms of the class struggle, in terms of the potential revolution and the revolutionary struggle, right? So, what do you think happens when you have massive big tech companies that are censoring Sandinistas like they are now in Nicaragua, that are challenging the capitalist regime? What do you think happens when you have our government that's going after an Australian? Julian Assange is not American. He's an Australian that they're going after because he revealed U.S. war crimes. He did his right as a publisher.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah, James.
By the way, this was an idea from a follower on Twitter for giving a awareness about Julian Assange, and they wanted me to do this, and so here I go.
Yeah, go ahead, sure. Just let me know. I'll just Brandon and Raven.
Yeah.
Let me cancel this.
Yeah. So they said we're white here to bring awareness to what's going on with Julian Assange, as well as the whistleblowers. So this is me doing it. I made a promise, and I want to make sure I keep that promise. I know it looks ridiculous, but hey, if it gives attention so that people will start acknowledging, about Julian Assange, then fuck it, whatever. I mean, I look pretty badass, by the way, but but yeah, I look like I got struck by lightning. You know what I'm saying? But it is. Damn, this thing is hot. But the whole thing about Julian Assange is if we can't speak up and out about what's going on with him, or Jamal Khashoggi, or anybody who is speaking against the government, like think about Aaron Monte. Would he have been able to talk about the OPCW cover-up? I look really ridiculous right now. If we didn't have press freedom, would any of these things be able to happen? No. And so I told Sabby I was going to wear this. She's busting out laughing now. But yeah, if anybody has I just like to give a shout out to Marcia Everett for this. But
I also want, if you don't mind, I have one more thing I want to add to the story as well.
Sure.
Like this is extremely important because I want you guys to know this is a long battle that we had to fight. Julian Assange is another person that we had to fight for. I've been doing a lot more reading on Mamuya Abdul-Jabbar. Like once again, I'm openly man. I'm trying to learn more about his story, but these are the kind of people that are forgotten about as well. So bring Mamuya home. Make sure like we got to support Julian Assange. We got to support all these people that are victims of our broken criminal justice system. 40 years ago today, journalist Mamuya was arrested. Am I saying that correctly? I'm probably butchering it. Arrested and charged with the shooting death of 25-year-old Daniel, a police officer for the city. So they charged him for killing this police officer. So he maintains his innocence. So this is one of the people. He pretty much been a political prisoner for decades. Just to quickly wrap up this story here, but Julian Assange, Mamuya, they are both examples of our government waging war against the First Amendment. So if you're a conservative and you think you're this free speech warrior and you support the establishment, the Donald Trump administration that went after the journalists as well, if you support Joe Biden that's going after Julian Assange, and the people that are continuing to go after these journalists, you are not an advocate of the First Amendment, and it's time for us to call it out how it is. That's the last thing I want to say about that. Did I say his name right? Like Mumia. It's one of the names I read a lot, but I don't like say often. But go ahead, James.
Yeah, I mean, and if that person is a journalist, does it even matter what their ideology is? They're a journalist. I mean, if you don't have, free press, you don't have a check on power at all. And if you don't have that check on power at all, then that means all these items that you can find out, about, our politicians and people in power, then you can't question it, and you don't really have anything to check them with. It's destruction of democracy in real time. By the way, let me see. Yeah, Sabby said that I look like an old Rick James. Enjoy yourself. Yeah. Said my wig was decolonizing the establishment machine. That wig is hot, man. That thing is so synthetic. That thing was more synthetic than Milli Vanilli's voice. Girl, you know it's true. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hey, I don't know if you're kind of young. You're significantly younger than me, but I don't know if you remember Milli Vanilli. We actually had the CD growing up.
Who? I'm telling you, I am not that pop culture guy. Like when people be like, "Yo, you know about this? You seen this movie? Have you heard this artist?" I'm like, probably not, probably not. But yeah.
What? Oh my goodness. Oh. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Buy a new couch.
Yeah. Yep. I've been kicking out of better homes than this. Wide nose having motherfuckers. They should have never gave you niggas money. Y'all don't appreciate shit. Y'all know you're gonna buy another couch. What am I gonna do about my legs, Charlie Murphy? I watched that.
That's classic. That's classic.
Yeah, I watched that so many times.
Couch, nigga. Fuck yo.
I was Doc, this is what did the five fingers say to the face? What? Slap.
Man, when that show was out when I was in middle school and I was a freshman in high school, when that episode came out, and that was a curse on our school. When that episode came out, everyone the next day, because I seen the episode, like the people who did not see the episode when it came out did not get it. Everyone was like, what the five fingers say to the face? Pop! I seen people getting slapped all day. People don't understand the influence that show has, especially on black community. We will go the Rick James when that episode dropped. Everyone was in school the next day. Rick James, bitch. The teacher was furious. All the kids, Rick James, bitch. Rick James, bitch. Man, that was a legendary show.
Legendary show. The funny part
is, I just know, like, bro, our school, everyone, like, if you did not watch the new Chappelle episode, you're gonna be behind on the jokes the whole week. You're gonna be behind because I was in high school as that was coming out. Yeah. If you didn't see it, like, you can look at the classics now, but it doesn't do it justice. Like when the Chappelle show, when it was live, was unlike anything I ever seen before, even to this day. Like you can't do it justice by watching the rerun. I still remember when they came out with that Tupac song, back in '94. Been so long. Like remember that song? That shit was funny, man. It's been a long time since I've seen that, but anyway, so I gotta move on. You guys gave me nostalgic.
No,
a real long time ago. Feel me. I wrote this song a long time ago. It was the dopest song I ever wrote in '94. Anyway, sorry, I'll move on.
No, it was look, we don't have that much time, so you might as well just chill out and have fun.
Yeah,
but when that episode came out, I was an adult and I was working. God damn, I'm old. I'm old, actually, man. Yeah, I have gray hairs on my face now. But when it came out, I was working I was working at a burrito place, and everybody kept saying, "I'm Rick James, bitch," and I'm like, "Huh?" And I just didn't know like what it was about because I didn't watch Chappelle's show like that because I was raised very religious and trying to be pure and so I didn't get to watch it.
This is one of my favorite sketches. Prince played basketball and made pancakes.
Oh yeah, shoot the J, shoot it.
Game blouses.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's so many sketches, man. I watched everything.
Ow.
Yeah, Clay and Biscuit. That's probably one of the most critically acclaimed sketches. Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. I'm Not Alive, Thug Life, Dave Chappelle, That Ain't Your Wife. You got 3 kids. Go home. Like, because they was mocking how like Tupac had songs that was still coming out. That because Eminem and a lot of like producers got a lot of his old tracks and then blend them together. But it was a funny skit, man.
Yeah.
I won't play it, but they'll fuck us up. We play that clip on YouTube.
Yeah. Or the one A Day in the Life of Little John.
Yeah. Oh my god! I told you, as kids, we was annoying as shit. I would be so annoyed because when that Little John episode came out, we kept saying we would be to teachers like, what? Okay, like bro, everyone was saying in high school. And now that I'm an adult, I'm like, bro, we was annoying as shit. Because Dave Chappelle, it was Dave Chappelle. It was funny though.
Yeah.
Imagine being a teacher. Like now I'm an adult. I'm looking at it differently. Like imagine being a teacher and all your kids like, what? Okay, we was doing that. We think we were being funny. Meanwhile, the teacher's like, oh my god, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. I'm in debt. I got great paper. And these kids will not shut up. Like that's how I think about it. That's how I think about it now.
Yeah. Excuse me, madam. You start speaking all proper and shit. Sometimes I don't have anyone to talk to. He's like, what? I said sometimes I don't have anyone to turn to talk to. He's like, I gotta go. Bye, nigga. I gotta jump
on my Twitch stream because Twitch don't give a fuck. We can't do it on YouTube. On my Twitch stream, I gotta watch that shit again. That's just fun as fuck.
Yeah, that it was pretty funny, man. I mean, yo, even my mom was laughing at it. Like she couldn't keep it. She couldn't keep it down. She was cracking.
Yeah, my mom used to do this thing where she used to act offended. Like I used to watch South Park and I used to watch Dave Chappelle, and my mom would be watching South Park with me. Cause my mom was cool as hell. Like I would be a kid, she didn't care if I watched South Park or whatever. So I'll be watching South Park, and then she'd be in the living room. I can tell that she's doing this thing where she pretends she offended, but then she'd be like, and that was always my goal. I always try to get my mom to laugh at vulgar ass shit because my mom was chill like that. And then there was sometimes she'd be watching South Park. She'd be like, all right, that was funny. I gotta admit it. I don't like this show, but that was funny.
Yeah, man. And, a lot of stuff. I mean, that was the difference between me and you growing up was that, anything that had any vulgarity in it, I wasn't allowed to watch. Look, I wasn't even allowed to watch Power Rangers when I was little.
What?
Yo.
Bro, we grew up on Power Rangers. What?
Yo, look. You know how old I am? When I was I think it was 8 years old when Mighty Morphin Power Rangers first premiered. I watched it that day. That's how old I am, bruh. And then,
go ahead.
Yo, it changed everything. We were watching that shit every day. 5 o'clock on Fox Kids Network. We were watching.
Mornings, man. I don't know what these kids watch now. I think they watch Twitch all day. But Saturday morning cartoon, I'm at AJ. No, bro.
Oh yeah.
Man, I grew up on Power Rangers. I'm a martial artist, guys. Why do you guys think I got into martial arts? You think I stumbled to it on accident? It was the corny ass Power Rangers, and they're impossible moves. I used to see the Power Rangers throw spinning wheel kicks. I'm like, bro, I want to do that one day. And and I used to watch Dragon Ball Z. I used to see Goku fucking shit up, and I'm like, yeah, I want to be a martial artist one day. And that's how it got started. That's why we grew up on. I guess the kids now they growing up on like Twitch streamers, which I guess it works for them, like TikTok and Twitch streamers. But I grew up on Toonami, martial art movies, and that kind of shit. Jackie Chan. Yeah. I was fucking. I don't know. Yo. But the point I was about to make earlier that you brought up, I was lucky my mom didn't give a fuck because looking back at it now, it makes sense because my mom was a single mom with 3 kids. And there was a point where she had two jobs. She don't give a fuck what we watch. Are you really gonna give a fuck what your kids watch? Like, you barely feeding the kids, you got barely pay the bills. Then we're bad assholes. Like, the last thing you want to worry about is what the fuck I'm watching on TV. So I think that's the real reason. If I had to think about it, that last thing she cared about, like, oh my god, this show is too mean for it's too bad for you. Because we used to watch Friday. We used to watch all them black comedy shows that was like super. We shouldn't be watching those, but hey. Yeah. I don't believe in, like, kids gotta grow up eventually. What the fuck y'all hiding them from stuff for? Like, that the old George Carlin bit. Like, stop. I don't know. That maybe y'all disagree with me because I don't got kids, but that's the child worship. Children are smarter than you think, bro. Like, I seen stuff and I'm like, this is not scarring me mentally. Oh, maybe it did. Maybe I am fucked up. Maybe I am fucked up. I am fucking a leftist, a revolutionary, right? Maybe I did get fucked up somewhere along the line. But I don't think it's a big deal because I see that shit as a kid. Like, all right, this is reality. This is life. Well, I don't know what you guys are protecting them for. They're gonna grow up eventually. Like, they're gonna feel like they're gonna figure out what boobies are eventually. Like, well, I don't know why you guys are hiding this shit from them. That is I don't got kids though, so this is my uneducated male opinion, I guess.
Yeah. Oh man, what was I gonna say? Shit, I was gonna say something. It was in regards to yeah. Like, we didn't realize that Mr. Popo was a racist trope.
Oh yeah, that was racist. I didn't realize it either. I thought it was like, oh, this dude black as hell.
With red ass lips. And he spoke just like this. Oh, call me. Let me see. Mad Ocelot God said time banks plus tool libraries equals do-it-yourself alt economy. Also use value, no market value. Not exploitative of labor or resources. Have active participant on as guest maybe.
Thanks for the super chat.
Thanks for the super chat.
But yeah, thank you for that. Tools and libraries. Yeah, thank you for that. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what you're referring to. Yeah, I'm a little confused.
My grandma would put on very R-rated movies to watch with me. Definitely had an effect. It definitely has an effect on you. But if kids can be like, do you guys understand like the trauma like black kids, indigenous kids go through? I think watching movies they're like child slaves in the Congo. I think kids watching movies is not the end of the deal. Like, I think people blow that up. That's my only point. I think kids, and I remember because I was a kid, I think they're stronger than we give them credit for. I think we should protect them to a certain point. But if you want people like, oh my god, I don't want to watch this, I don't want to see this, what are you accomplishing? Like, they're gonna get that information eventually.
Yeah,
that's the only point. I'm not saying expose them to that. I'm just saying that there's the point that George Carlin was making. It's the child worship, the thing that children are the weak things that must be protected from information. They're designed to get information and absorb that and learn from it. And your job as a guardian is to shape and mold them and guide them. A lot of people, they don't want to do that shaping, molding, and guide them. So they just rather just censor information. And once again, my point is, I don't understand the benefit of that. But if people got put back on that, but that's just, I guess that's that. But
well, yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. I mean, and the question is, why are you putting the burden of parenting on these outlets and these mediums? I mean, isn't that supposed to be the job of the parent? I mean, so it's like right now, people are mad at Lil Nas X because Lil Nas X is not parenting their kids the right way. That's basically what it is.
Yeah, that is literally what it is. I think that's the heart of my position. I don't think, like, I don't know. I think if you're a good parent, if you got good value, you got good community values, like wherever your kids see on TV, they're not gonna affect them. Because I seen some fucked up shit. I like to think that I'm a decent person, right? But it's like, and my mom, she was like, not a big deal. Like, I know my mom knew that she's gonna teach me right at the end of the day. So to be clear on this, I'm not like pro exposing kids for shit, right? You should avoid that. But there's a level of protectionism that people have where they want to protect them from everything. I think that's a little bit overdoing it. But I think we about to wrap up, right, James?
Yeah. So
tomorrow, Nick and CJ show. Check that out tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, Monday show. Should be good.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's the only thing I'm gonna plug right now.
Okay. And Yeah, I will be live on Tuesday on the Jaybefaunt Channel, so you guys can check that out. I will be. What the hell am I discussing? I forgot exactly what I'm discussing. Oh well, just tune in. If you guys like, the shows that I do on RBN, please think about subscribing to the Jaybefaunt Channel as well.
Yeah, check it out. Check JB's channel out.
Yeah. And so I'm still a little itty bitty channel, but if you guys can check that out. Also, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And please click that notification bell so that you guys know that whenever we go live. And if you guys don't like it, I know who you are. I know where you'll live, and I'll be right at your door. So make sure to press that like button. Also, just another thing. Thanks to everybody who has been supportive of us. And we really appreciate, what you guys do, and also the dialogue that you guys continue to have with us. This is RBN is different in a way where we like to have dialogue with the people who view us. And so we really appreciate all the support that you guys give us as well. And shout out again to Robin. Happy birthday. And please make sure to subscribe to her. And also, please make sure to donate to the Hampton House as well. They are also wanting to make that into a national landmark, and it deserves to be so. Oh, Paul Smith said you can't find my channel. All right, hold up.
Put it in the description. You should be putting that in the description all the time.
Yeah, I should. Hold up, I'll put it in the description. I'll put it in the chat.
Every video, put your YouTube channel in the description.
Yeah, I just didn't want to make it seem like I was.
No, that's the point of the network. The point of the network is so we can help uplift each other's platform. That's the point.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's why we wanted to do this. So follow JB, follow Cotton J channel. Like this, that's the point of what we're trying to do. Like JB does good. He does a show too. So check him out if you want some more. So. Anyway, we'll be back Monday. CJ, we're gonna have some fun. I got some more stories to rant about. But JB, no, if you brought me on your show, I'm gonna hijack it. I'm gonna try to take over. But
you'll be on my show. In fact, that's what we need to talk about after this show. We got to talk about that. So
we see. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Hit the bell and share with your friends so we can continue to grow. It helps a lot.
Yeah, I love y'all. Stay strong. Forehead kisses. Mwah.